So, in today's video, I want to help you achieve basically an exclusive look into the avoidant attachment style's inner world and how they truly feel during times of conflict. And it is my hope that from this video, you can learn, have a little bit more understanding and compassion, and pair that with some constructive action steps so that you can better thrive in a relationship with an avoidant, whether this is a family member, one of your children, a friend, or a romantic partner. And I do want to say, as I go into today's video, the goal is not for you to learn what the avoidant is feeling during conflict and then shut down and realize, okay, I have to walk on eggshells or never have a conflict with an avoidant. That's not the purpose. The purpose for today's video is for you to understand and be mindful that we can have compassion for somebody, but still communicate our needs, or have compassion for somebody, but still have healthy standards for what we're looking for, what we're needing in a relationship. So my goal is for you, if you aren't the avoidant watching this yourself today, to better understand yourself, is to understand and have compassion for the avoidant, but still be mindful of what it is that you need so you can convey and communicate it in a healthy way while taking into consideration the learnings that you take away from this video specifically. So there's basically four major stages that an avoidant experiences during a conflicting situation. Also, if you're new here, by the way, my name is Thais. I'm the founder of the Personal Development School, and basically created the Personal Development School with a whole bunch of online courses after about 10 plus years in client practice. And I'm here to share a whole bunch of powerful tools and learnings with you. So there are four major stages, and I want to say here that these four major stages the avoidant goes through around conflict. This is based on hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of conversations that I've had with clients, students at PDS, workshop attendees, webinar attendees, and loved ones even over the past 12, 14 years or so. So this isn't coming from, my own personal experience. This is coming from many, many, many case studies, conversations, etc. The very first thing that dismissive avoidants tend to experience is fear. They tend to actually be afraid. So when a conflict starts off, and I've asked so many avoidants over the years, like their emotions and what their emotions are as they start going through a conflict, and almost all of them will say, I feel afraid at first. And this is everybody. This is like strong, very strong personalities and stoic people. Well, they feel a little bit of fear. I feel afraid. I don't like conflict. It makes me feel really uncomfortable and afraid. And then the next part that they tend to feel, and this fear is because you have to remember, by the way, right? And this sort of brings part one and two together. Dismissive avoidants don't get modeling growing up for healthy relationships, right? They don't get the example of having two people in a conflict and then be able to work it out or solve for it or communicate through it and become closer as a result. They have pretty much opposing experiences, right? So seeing, just pain, suffering, these sorts of things, more distance, more of a disconnect. And their experiences of conflict growing up, where they already felt like they were emotionally neglected in some way, to have more and more distance on top of the emotional neglect can cause this sort of fear that they're not going to have anybody there. So there's this fear that starts off the first stage. The second stage is helplessness. Dismissive avoidance report feeling helpless, like feeling kind of this sense of I don't know how to solve for this. I don't know how to handle this, move through this. And again, it's learned helplessness is what they're actually feeling, because if you don't get those good strategies for modeling through conflict, and being able to solve for it, then of course you feel stuck. And the third stage that comes on is a sense of feeling defeated. When a dismissive avoidant tries to move through conflict in a healthy way, tries to do what they think might be the right thing in the situation, and doesn't know how to proceed, they feel a sense of defeat. And, dismissive avoidants tend to follow this path of sort of this why bother kind of attitude sometimes. And, we've talked about this on this channel before, but dismissive avoidants will kind of, when they feel defeated, say to themselves, okay, well, why even bother? Because it takes away from the suffering of not being able to get what you want. It's almost like you reject the situation before it rejects you. If you say, well, why even bother with this? Then you withdraw from trying and wanting something different and not being able to get your needs met. And because DAs, dismissive avoidance, grew up not being able to get their needs met in the household, it feels easier to say, okay, I don't need anything here. Why bother? I'm not going to try bothering to get my needs met any longer. And there's actually a small amount of empowerment that comes from that attitude when otherwise they're feeling powerless or defeated. So I'm going to tell you the fourth stage, and this will hopefully help, make a lot of sense of why dismissive avoidants have the conflict patterns that they do. But I will say if you're struggling with conflict with a DA or as a DA or really as any attachment style, and you just want to do a deeper dive, I actually have just for a limited time, you can check it out fully for free. Of course, all about conflict resolution, the steps, the key ingredients to resolving conflict, healthy modeling for what resolving conflict really looks like. And it will help you be able to rebuild connections and relationships and not feel like conflict is something that makes you feel stuck or overwhelmed or powerless. So I'll put that link down below just for a limited time if you want to check it out for free. And stage number four is the shutdown stage. And it goes from that defeat to that sort of why bother part in between, which then causes them to shut down, sometimes stonewall, ice out. And really, what dismissive avoidants are attempting to do is pull away so they don't have to be faced with the feelings of helplessness and defeat and fear any longer. And that's actually their way of soothing, right? If they can pull away from the situation, they can kind of suppress it. And by creating distance from it, they feel like they're distancing themselves in a way from those painful emotions that are bubbling there beneath the surface at a subconscious level. So hopefully this makes a lot more sense, especially when you see a dismissive avoidant shutting down. It's not personal. It's their sort of attempt to deal with the conflict in the best way that they can. And of course, if you can learn to manage conflict in a healthy way and have constructive conversations, as a dismissive avoidant or as the loved one of a dismissive avoidant, this is where we'll start to see a lot of momentum because there will be the absence of helplessness and defeat. And there won't be the fear if we're having conversations and seeing that we can communicate needs and feelings in much healthier forms by following specific communication steps and tools. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you're enjoying this channel. And I can't wait to see you in future videos.